cover. God, please let every veteran of our nation, armed forces, feel truly appropriate and appropriately honored by the attention and appreciation of their fellow citizens. Let no one feel forgotten or neglected. Let every man and woman, young and old, feel the deep and enduring gratitude of our nation and our inhabitants. Amen. Cover.
And we will do Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, you can be seated. I'd like to introduce our guest, Third Selectman Sally Jimmy.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Frieda, our first selectman, and Mr. Piper, our second selectman, were unable to be here today with great regret. This is always a great function for them, and they love being here, but neither could be here today. Veterans Day holds a very special place in my heart as a daughter of a World War II veteran. My dad, Dr. Anthony Boehme, fought in World War II in the infantry, in the 20th Infantry Regiment of the 6th Division, and he earned a Bronze Star and a Purple Heart. So this has always been a very special day for me as well. Veterans Day is the day we honor all veterans, all men and women who have served our country. And on behalf of the Board of Selectmen and all the people of North Haven, I want to thank all veterans for their service. So please enjoy this day, and thank you for coming for this wonderful ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Military service, by its nature, is temporary. The legacy of that service, however, can benefit generations for centuries. Veterans Day can be traced to the armistice which ended World War I. Though the peace of that treaty did not survive the fascist tyrannies of Hitler and Mussolini, the freedom enjoyed by Europeans today is a result of the service and sacrifice made by millions of U.S. veterans. It is the legacy of those who have worn the uniform of the United States, a legacy of freedom. It is a legacy that has spread the globe. First Lieutenant Ralph Puckett Jr. was commanding officer of the 8th Ranger Company, 8213th Army Unit, 8th U.S. Army. Outnumbered and seriously wounded twice by the enemy in Ulsan, Korea, during a two-day battle in 1950, he continued to lead his company of Rangers through machine gun fire in order to capture objectives and direct military. When his wounds prevented him from moving, he told his soldiers to leave him behind so they could withdraw. Despite his objections, his soldiers dragged him from the hill to a position of safety. Lieutenant Puckett would survive the battle and eventually retire from the Army as a colonel in 1971. Even his lengthy military career was temporary when compared to the legacy that continues in Korea. Without the sacrifice of veterans, including Colonel Puckett, freedom and democracy we enjoy today couldn't have blossomed in Korea. South Korea President Moon Jae-in said earlier this year during a White House ceremony in which Colonel Puckett received his well-deserved Medal of Honor from President Biden. Another distinguished hero, the late Admiral Jeremiah Denton, spoke of the long but temporary ordeal he experienced as prisoner of war in Vietnam. If I had known when I was shot down that I would be there more than 7 years, I would have died of despondency, of despair, but I didn't. It was 1 minute at a time, 1 hour, 1 week, 1 year, and so on. If you look at it like that, anybody can do anything. The type of toughness, commitment, perseverance is not unusual among veterans. Their exploits are legendary. After Harriet Tubman led hundreds of slaves to freedom through the Underground Railroad, she served as a cook, a nurse, spy for the Union Army during the Civil War. Frederick W. Smith, who served 2 tours as a Marine in Vietnam before launching Federal Express Network, a company that would grow into an $84 billion global enterprise. Baseball great Jackie Robinson, surgeon Michael DeBakey, and computer scientist Grace Hopper were other Americans whose contributions to culture and society reach far beyond the military service. Even so, can any CEO or cultural icon truly claim to have greater responsibility than a platoon commander leading a team in combat? For these young people, a bad day at work does not mean a blown account or lost business. It can mean watching a best friend die, losing a limb, or being immersed in the collateral suffering that is synonymous with war. Even veterans who have not experienced combat share a bond with those who have. They have all expressed their willingness to die for their country if called upon. They have all subjected themselves to a military justice system which requires strict obedience and professionalism, and they have all pledged loyalty to the U.S. Constitution. In the book Walk in My Combat Boots by James Patterson and Matt Eversman, the authors interviewed veterans of various eras and published their accounts. Navy Reservist Ryan Leahy spoke of the rivalry as well as the bond. While on active duty, he felt a sense of dread in 2007 when he was approached by a Marine Vietnam War veteran in a bar. Quote, "He is going to give me crap about being a Navy guy," end quote. Leahy recalled in the book, Leahy, who had not seen combat, was surprised when the Vietnam vet instead thanked him. When he asked why, the Vietnam vet said, "You guys saved my life more times than I can count. I can't tell you the amount of times we would have been dead, but we were able to pick up the phone and you guys came in and got everyone out." Leahy would later use that moment to mentor others. "Listen, you're not pulling the trigger, you're not doing what you see in the movies, but most people aren't," he would tell his people. "What you're doing by keeping the reactor up, getting that F-18 off the flight deck, you're literally saving people's lives. You're the only 1 or 2 degrees away from physically saving someone's life. So have a little bit more onus and understanding and pride in what you do." We in the American Legion welcome and encourage conversations such as these among veterans. We call them buddy checks. We remind all veterans that their service matters. We remind them that their well-being matters, especially to us. Most importantly, we offer our friendship and assistance. Through that friendship, the American Legion has made suicide prevention among veterans its top priority. Buddy checks are one tool, but we must also do whatever it takes to encourage veterans to seek help from the Department of Veterans Affairs or other trained professionals. We must remove all stigmas associated with asking for help or being diagnosed with PTSD, depression, or any condition that could lead one to take his or her own life. All of us here can help. Memorize the Veterans Crisis Line number and offer it freely to those in need. That's 1-800-273-8255, extension 1. Follow up and ensure that veterans you encounter know that you are an ally and can be counted on for support. You can also show support to these great men and women by hiring a veteran in your workplace. patronizing a veteran-owned business, or donating to a veterans program. And you can simply thank them for their service. For many veterans, our nation was important enough to endure long separations from their families, miss the births of their children, freeze in sub-zero temperatures, bake in wild jungles, lose limbs, and far too often lose their lives. Military spouses have had to endure career interruptions, frequent change of addresses, and a disproportionate share of parental responsibilities. Fewer than 10% of Americans can claim title veteran. Less than 1/2 of 1% of our population currently serves. Yet some seem intent on trying to balance the federal budget by diminishing the quality of life programs designed for families who have already proportionately made the sacrifices. Veterans have given us freedom, security, and the greatest nation on earth. It is impossible to put a price on that. We must remember them. We must appreciate them. God bless you all for being here. God bless our veterans. God bless America. You know, we now have an interlude of George Thompson and crew. We will now place the wreath at the monument.
It's a beautiful wreath.
That is
Gorgeous wreath.
beautiful.
And they're both deserving.
Oh, yes.
They are.
Okay, I'd like to thank you all for being here today and acknowledge George Thompson and crew for providing music, Mr. Tedeschi for playing taps, and all our members for being here. We now have our closing prayer by Chaplain Wayne Morgan.
Uncover.
Thank you.
To be rewarded. Father, please turn your gaze to those men and women who in the military service have sacrificed time, comfort, strength, ambition, health, and prosperity for the peace and safety of family and friends and others they've never even known. Please reward them 100 100-fold for their sacrifice and service. Bless them far beyond all their expectations. Reward them richly for all they have given. Amen.
Amen.
Yep. Pipers will play Amazing Grace. Cover.
Beautiful day, gorgeous day. Everybody, you did a good job. You did a good job. Good job.